Field Yates has just tweeted out, trade. The Falcons are acquiring Lions cornerback Jeffrey Okudah. His agent, Kevin Connor of Uni Sports Management, confirmed.
Oh.
Connor articulated that the GMs of the two teams involved, Detroit's Brad Holmes and Atlanta's Terry Fontenot, made it a seamless collaborative process. The negotiations were described as amicable and productive throughout, as this deal represents a win-win for both sides, a fresh start for Okudah in Atlanta.
Okay, hang on. Let me just...
So here's the question.
You want to know what's the pick?
Yeah, no, I don't know what, or a player. What do the Lions get back? It doesn't say.
Well, I'm going to assume it's draft capital.
It probably is.
So what do you think would be appropriate? They have picks in the first 5 rounds. So it ain't the 8th pick overall.
Of course not.
It's not likely to be a second-round pick.
Nope.
Is a third-round pick out of the realm of possibility?
I would think so.
All right. So then they have 2 fourth-round picks. They're pretty close together, 110 and 113. One of those available, you think?
So let me start with this. I would be happy with a 4th-round pick. Not because the Lions took a first-round player and turned him into a 4th-round pick, but because of what he has proven to be in the league so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and yet it could be for a pick in a future draft. Doesn't have to be this coming draft.
Right.
Atlanta doesn't have a pick beyond the 5th round.
They do. They have 2 7th-round picks. They do not have anything in the 6th. I don't think they're trading him. I wouldn't trade him for a 7th-round pick. I think he still has some value in this league. I wouldn't trade him for a 5th-round pick. He still has value. I think the 4th round is where you start to get into where his real value is. I think it's too hard to push because their pick in the 3rd round is a 75th overall.
Well, we now know what they're getting for him.
Is it a player or is it draft capital?
It's draft capital.
Is it this year's draft?
It's in this year's draft. Draw a line.
Well, 113 is their second of the 2 4th-round picks, so because they're close together, 110 and 113. One of those picks and higher would be something I would take for him.
They are getting Atlanta's 5th-round pick.
159.
For Jeffrey Okudah.
I don't love it.
According to Adam Schefter, the Falcons traded a 2023 5th-round pick to the Lions for cornerback Jeff Okudah, per source. So, look, we're 3 years into Okudah. He had injury-riddled year 1 and year 2. Last year showed some promise, and then by the end of the year had appeared to have fallen out of favor.
Mm-hmm.
We had speculated that there was pretty much a 0% chance they were going to pick up his 5th-year option because that would have paid him $11 or $12 million. And he's not playing like an $11 or $12 million player. Whatever it was, might have been 10.5. I can't remember what the compensation was for the 5th-year option, what it was determined to be. I mean, is this a guy that would have had to work hard not to get cut? Given what they've done? I mean, they did sign 3 veteran corners. And does this tell you that they're likely to take a corner high?
Well, they signed 2 veteran corners, right? And 1 safety.
They signed the kid from San Francisco.
Yeah. Mosley.
Yeah. They signed Cam Sutton, and they signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who plays the slot corner a lot. But they like his versatility there. But that's a spot that Okudah could have played. So if you combine that with the possibility of a drafted player, I mean, I'm not that disappointed. I would have been pretty ecstatic with anything higher, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that's the thing. Just looking at where they're picking this year, Atlanta, 110 and 113 in the 4th round. Those are top 10 picks in the 4th round, or maybe just outside the top 10 for the 113 pick. They end up with 159.
Well, here's why I like it. Actually, there's not a formula for drafting perfect. Like, we go through the best teams in the draft, they make mistakes. But one of the things that was a constant throughout Pittsburgh, Seattle, New England, and a lot of these teams that seem to Baltimore do very well in the draft historically was they just hoarded draft picks. They just hoarded them. They have more kicks at the can, more opportunities. The Lions now have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fifths, and 2 sixths. So 2, 4, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 draft picks. I like that. I like that a lot.
Look, if this is the best they can get for him, then I guess go ahead and do it. I'm not thrilled that it's a 5th.
But Gator, here, let me help.
But this is a guy that he did fall out of favor. They didn't bench him. It wasn't like, okay, you made one bad play. I mean, they benched him for
game.
Big
and you also have to ask yourself how much money they saved.
Well, they did save money.
The thing is, I try to make you feel a little bit better, Gator, because it is, if you just look at the surface, it's underwhelming. 5th round pick for a guy who's the 3rd pick overall, who showed flashes, but like we mentioned, fell out of favor. Clearly fell out of favor because they've moved on from him. I think the bigger picture is this is just more ammunition to move up in the draft if they have to. Now they have 2 5th round picks, like you mentioned, Doug. Maybe they can try to get back into the 4th round. Maybe they try to get a 3rd second round pick by packaging a 3rd and a 5th round. I think the bigger picture is this is ammunition for the draft. We were done with Jeff Okudah. It wasn't going to happen. We got Mosley, we got Sutton, we got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. This is just, hey, if we need it, we've got it.
I hear you. It's like if they combined a 3rd pick that they have at 81 with this 5th round pick, and then they move up to get DJ Turner.
Yep.
From Michigan.
Whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just something that gets thrown in to top the deal? Remember the Mel deal? Okay, where Hendon Hooker, who was it that traded in the Mel mock into the 1st round and gave up 2 seconds? And Detroit has 2 seconds.
Seattle.
I think it was Seattle. Detroit has 2 seconds, but the team that traded up, yes, it was Seattle, moves into round 1 and takes Hendon Hooker at 30. What if Detroit throws this 5th rounder in and their 2 seconds in the 5th allow them to get Hendon Hooker? Are you happy now? Happier?
Happier.
Yeah. 248-539-9797. If you're just joining us, we have breaking news. Jeff Okudah traded to Atlanta for a 5th round pick in this draft. Look, we all know there's no point in recapping. Hey, they took the 3rd overall pick in the draft and turned him into a 5th round. Got it. Previous regime didn't work.
Not good, no.
It was something I was willing to be patient with and see if it was worth it. Clearly, it was not.
Well, injuries didn't help either.
Injuries didn't help. And then last year, when he started to look like, hey, this has a chance, then it just went off the rails. As the year went on, it strikes me that this is let's get something for this guy that we may cut.